All right, all right. Welcome to another live video that we are doing today. This is actually interview number 4, Mike, but the second one that we do live on Facebook. And I'm not going to introduce myself because if you're watching this video, then you know who I is and you know why I'm doing these videos. The reason I'm doing these videos is I reached out to all the people that I have a lot of respect for and people who I believe are leaders within their communities and thought leaders within the real estate industry that will have relevant information, whether it's information or strategies or insights or tools or tips or whatever that is going to help you. Number one, uh, you know, take care of whatever you got going on in your business right now, and number two, how to prepare yourself for any possible shift, which there will be a shift in the marketplace. How to prepare for that, how to thrive in upcoming times, etc. And Mike just happened to be one of the very first few people that popped, in my mind as someone who will definitely contribute to you guys today. So, Mike, I don't think anyone can better introduce you than you can introduce yourself. So, tell us who you are and how amazing you are.
Well, Chadi, first of all, thanks for having me on the show, man. It's an honor for me. And every time we have these conversations, I know I learned something from it. So I really appreciate you having me on. My name is Mike Safiedine. I actually have two offices, one in Carlsbad, one in Rancho Bernardo. Been in the business over 23 years. Started off when I was a little over 20, and here we are today. I'm 44 years old. So it's been an adventurous ride, my friend. It's been an adventurous ride.
Awesome. So you're in San Diego, and I think one of the things that we should reference right here, right now, is that you actually have been in the industry in two different and complete opposite marketplaces. You had your early start over in the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan, and then you made your way all the way down to beautiful San Diego, California. And you've been through a shift before, right?
I have. I sure have. It's funny because I just did a Zoom call with a bunch of my agents, and we talked about market shifts. And I always say, in adversity, there's always opportunity. And if you have that mindset, you will thrive. If you don't have that mindset, you will dive. So it's something that you need to adjust to immediately. It's a lot of things that I've learned over the years is that you always got to be changing. And if you're not always changing and adapting to your environment, then you become obsolete. So yeah, just to give you a little breakdown, I mean, I got it listed over here. If you want me to give you a little bit my shifting over the years,
Yeah, let's begin. Look, there's really no agenda. There's only contribution here. We just want to have a conversation and extract,
sure.
whatever things that are going to make a difference for somebody.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about.
I got it as change is inevitable, right? Change is inevitable. I got into the business in '97, and anybody that just got into the business would realize it's not easy. You just take what you can get, and you adjust to your circumstances based on what you have and offered. So at this point, '97 got into the business, work with buyers, just anybody that can give me any type of attention at that point, right? Whether it's family, friends, or anybody that's interested in looking at a property. You're almost like a chicken without a head, right? You're running in every direction. Mentorship is always a challenge because nobody wants to coach the newbies. So you become trying to learn and just take whatever you got. So '97 worked with buyers. In 2000, I actually shifted to investors. And from that point on, 2006, worked with sellers. 2008, worked with investors. And 2009 to 2012, we worked with banks and any type of investors that were buying and selling at the property. Because everybody that knows 2008 was more of a collapse, if you will, of the real estate market. A lot of prices were dipping, foreclosures were out there. So you had to adjust to who was buying and selling property. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. You just you just see where the money, follow the money, and then adjust your business in order to work and get a piece of that action. So 2012, I made a move to San Diego. Everybody thought I was crazy, including my family. They said, "You're doing well out here. You make a good living. You have your family members behind you. Why would you make that move?" I don't understand the question. I really don't. I mean, to me, it was quality of life. It's simple. Money is great, but at the end of the day, quality of life supersedes that. And then 2013, worked with banks and buyers, anything I can get to, because I had to start all over and reinvent myself. Didn't know anybody out here. So 2015, worked with sellers and by buyers and buyers by default. Something Chadi Bazzi taught me. And then 2018, opened my own brokerage, which now I work with agents. So if you could tell, in the last 20 some years, it was a transformation. And I had to really adjust to the circumstances, right? So we're always changing.
And here we are. So, Mike, you're obviously in a leadership position right now. It's not just about just selling real estate. You're in a leadership position, and you've led yourself out of one, call it recession, call it market shift, call it whatever before, and now you're called upon, whether you like it or not, to lead the champions that work underneath you, to greatness. And they're relying on you, etc. So you got to be on top of your game, and you got to give them some good advice. And one of the things that I'm noticing with a lot of agents all across the country, not just here in California, is all of a sudden everyone is experiencing the same exact emotion. The majority, not all people. The emotion that they're experiencing is the emotion of fear and panic and anxiety. Those three, combined, what they do is, they destroy a person's mind, and they cause a person to, take actions from a place of, lack versus, from a place of abundance. So I'm curious to find out, what is it that you are doing or speaking about to the people that you lead on how to manage that emotion and go from the emotion of being fearful to becoming fearless.
Sure. It's a battle every single day, Chadi. Every single day I wake up, I have to get my mind right, because like you said, I am the leader. People are going to look upon me and say, if Mike is scared, then damn, I should be petrified, right? So, and I got to tell myself certain things. And so it's always been a challenge. Nobody's ever said it was easy, but there's some things that can help. Number one is your morning routine. Something that you should be consistent with every single day is, one of the things that I do is I listen to audio. I'm a big YouTuber. I will listen to Audible and all kinds of podcasts or whatever I can do to actually put myself and align myself with people that have done it before, and also to the people that are, brave, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, and that's something that I always look forward to every single day. And as a matter of fact, that keeps my sanity, is knowing that I can wake up in the morning and have a new day. And if I had one that didn't go as planned, I know tomorrow my competition is not going to wake up as early as I am, and not going to have the passion and to do whatever it takes in order for myself and my agents, of course, to be successful.
So, Mike, what you're saying is, in different words, is like, be careful what it is that you're exposing yourself to, and take responsibility for, the input. Like, your input, determines your output. I mean, if you're waking up every single morning, you're going straight to Fox or CNN, and they're injecting you, with all the fear-based media out there, and, the panic and all that good stuff, then all of a sudden, beyond your conscious awareness, you're going to begin to experience, the phobia and the fear and all that good stuff. But if you wake up every single day and say, hey, I can't control what's going out there, I need to first control what's going on in here, how I'm feeling in here, so I can go out there and control that which I bring to my family. So I think what you're saying is, hey, take responsibility. Take responsibility. If anything, if we follow cycles, if we study economy every 9, 11 years, there's some kind of a market correction or recession or whatever you want to call it. It happens. We were due for that. We weren't going to hit it as fast as we hit it right now, and it came on us very, very, very quickly. And what I got out of this is that a lot of people were taking things for granted. Like, for example, you talk about the morning routine. They knew they should be doing the morning routine, but they half-ass it, day in, day on, 1 week on, 1 week off, whatever. And then all of a sudden, as Mike Tyson always says, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Well, the whole entire world just got punched in the face right now. And one of my guests earlier, Jim Remley, who I think is amazing, we're going to be releasing his video next week. He said, right now, your 2020 plan, forget about that right now. the 1 year business plan. You need to be focused on, what am I going to do in the next 90 days, and then, the 90 days after that, etc. So plan has changed. So Mike, what I'm trying to say is, morning routine has become more important than ever. Okay.
Yep.
So, and there's nothing more to add to it than what we've shared with you before. So let's not spend too much time telling people like, hey, wake up every single day and read a book or listen to positive audio or get a little bit of workout in and a little bit of good nutrition. You already know that that's common sense. Yeah, we get that common sense is not common practice. Just take responsibility and, manage yourself before you can go out there and manage others. Because now, guess what, Mike? You're the leader that's leading other leaders. Okay.
Yep.
So basically, you need to play that role, and your agents need to play the role of becoming leaders for, number one, their family, number two, for the community. Okay.
For sure.
Okay. So, they got to take that on and they got to pass that on. So we talked a little bit about that and the emotion, but is there like just one thing that is more important than anything else, just on the realm of like, how do I get this right and make sure that I am a champion? Just one
first, master the first part of the day, master the day, right? So the first hour is the most important. And I have these challenges with some of my agents because, as you know, we got the stay at home order. So what I'm advising them to do is wake up no different than they do and do the exact same routine. Go shower, act as if you're leaving the house. Go outside, come right back inside and go to that designated area to work, because you need to get your mind in a place to where it knows that now I can't be jumping in from room to room, wasting time and going to the kitchen. I've always argued against the fact that people working from home are less productive. And I know some people can master it, but I know this industry pretty darn well. I think most agents have ADD. If you ask me, they got a little more energy than others. And that's what gets us, that's where our strength comes from. But then that also can be a distraction. And so what takes place is if your mind is racing in different places and you're not kind of honing on the job task at hand, you start to become distracted and you start to multitask. And anybody that knows anything about multitasking, you can check in any type of psychologist, you can't master a certain task if you're all over the board. So I think the first and foremost is really getting that routine as if you're leaving the house. If you're used to going to the office, if you're used to just coming at home, rolling out of bed and your office is your bedroom, then act as if nothing changes and continue to your routine. So routine is the key success to anything, in my opinion.
I agree with you 100%, Mike. And I think right now, and even though I talked to 3 other people before I got on this call with you today, we didn't mention it on the other ones, but I think right now more than ever, I think people should, reach out to other people. Like, let's say there's 20 people that, want to get this right. There's got to be 2 or 3 that share the same level of high commitment as you that definitely want to get it right. And I think if they created a support group and or accountability group and or a mastermind group and held each other accountable to check in every single morning that they are getting up on time, that, they are going through their morning routine, that they are, beginning their workday at a specific time, no matter what. I think every single person right now should reach out to someone to hold them accountable. Because left to your own devices, only a few of us are equipped with the right DNA to not need anyone to lead us to do the things that we need to do. Most people need it, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Okay, so I am encouraging every single person to reach out and set up some kind of an accountability group, etc. I'm sure in your office,
We do.
Yeah.
We got a WhatsApp group, and they got to post a picture from when they're starting to prospect, if they are prospecting. Things have been a little gray, obviously, as you know. We've been ordered not to do any type of real estate activities, social distancing and whatnot. But I got to tell you, Chadi, I haven't worked harder probably in this past week and a half because I see this as an opportunity. And I know a lot of people are sleeping out there. I take it like no different than when I was working in Michigan. I worked harder in November, December, and January because I knew most agents were taking vacations, not going to work. And come springtime, I was having my best months. And as a matter of fact, my best months used to be January and February back in Michigan because of that reason, because I worked hard in November, December. I think most people, Chadi, want instant results. And what I've learned over the years is it's not what you do today. Whatever you work today is not going to be show any type of results for at least 90 days. So I'm never working for today. I'm always working for the future. It's already in my head. Like there's nothing that anybody can tell me otherwise. So I don't care about what's taking place right now. I don't normally, if any time, ever watch the news. I like to be updated with certain things, but no negativity will ever enter this head. Those are things I can't control, Chadi. I can control when I wake up. I can control my mindset and I can control my activities. So I tend to focus on what I can control, not what I cannot control.
Right. Okay. So talking about, you mentioned the word activity. What are the activities right now that one must not stop doing because, and ones that, people need to incorporate that they've been avoiding for a long time?
It's funny because I call it a 5-5-5 rule. All right. Okay. So like first 5, you need to start talking to your past clients. And the best way I could describe it to any type of person is if your financial advisor, if you're losing money in the stock market, as we know, it's very volatile. He owes you a phone call, does he not? If your money's going like this, he should give you some type of advice on what you should do. And if he's not calling you or keeping in touch with you, that's a bad financial advisor. Flip it to real estate. I mean, your prices, everybody's scared. What's going on with real estate prices? If you're purchasing or if you're selling, don't you owe your past clients a phone call? So first of all, update them, make sure they're fine and all that kind of stuff, of course. And but then you need to talk about real estate immediately, and most likely they'll bring it up. So the first 5 people you should talk to is past clients. Next 5 I got as a follow up. And when I say follow up, it's pretty simple. All the people that you've talked to that told you, call me in 3 months, call me in 6 months, let's talk over the spring. Well, a lot has changed since then. Don't you owe them a conversation? Wouldn't it be fair for you to say, hey, by the way, I know we planned for summer, but you may want to think about 1, 2, 3, however you believe. And then the 5 people, obviously your sphere and your circle of influence, just checking on them and making sure if there are any type of real estate needs. I have a few apps that show algorithms of when a person should be buying or selling. And so I always advise my people to contact those people first. And then the last 5 is nobody's talking about investors. You guys, they've been sleeping on the sidelines for a long time, waiting for opportunities to rise. And what better time to reconnect with those investors and saying, hey, you ready to jump if I find you something? You better believe they're going to tell you, let's go for it.
You're absolutely right. So, Mike, talking about investors, okay,
yep.
Some people already have investors they work with. Some people don't have investors or don't know how to go about getting investors. Sure. Do you have any tips on how one can reach out and find some investors?
It's very simple. First thing you need to do is go on Craigslist and or anybody else, Zillow, or whatever the case may be. Anybody offering a rental property right now that's vacant, you better believe they're going to be open-minded to either selling or maybe even purchasing more or less. That's an investor. Anybody that's looking to purchase, to flip, that's an investor. There's ways to contact them people with actually advertising maybe some of the properties that are flips or whatever the case may be and say, hey, anybody looking for a fixer, you better believe you get flooded. So finding investors are easy in my opinion. And if you have a hard time doing so, you're just not looking. The internet's full of them.
Good. So look, they can find them on, any places. I think look, there's a lot of investor groups on Facebook.
There you go.
I mean,
there you go.
That's one way to do it. You could also, if you can go on Instagram and you can look for the hashtag investor or hashtag real estate investor, and then you can mine all the posts and identify who are the investors in your marketplace. Definitely, you mentioned Craigslist. Any classified ad service online that people, anybody that's renting out a property right now is an investor. And some of those people still want to rent out the property. Some of those people don't want to rent out the property. Some of those people are looking for more property right now. And the only way for you to find out is for you to actually reach out to these people and have a conversation with them. Just come from a place of contribution. Hey, just wanted to give you a quick call and find out if you're in the market for some good deals. They either are or they're not. And if they are, ask them if they'd be willing to receive a text message from you as soon as you identify a good deal or whatever. And
you got to come with the heart and intention of contribution, right? How can I help you with this property? Is this something that you would like me to do, bring you a tenant for? I know a lot of people in my office may be looking, if I do find out somebody's looking in that particular area, I'll direct them to your way. Just if you're leading it with some type of value, they will look towards your way future. So that's something that I would recommend every agent doing, is to always don't ask for the business. Always give them some type of piece of value so that they can take it, and then in return they will pay you back later. And if they don't, the world will.
Yep, 100%. All right, so Mike, I got a bunch of other topics right here written down, and I'll tell you, in my opinion, and you correct me if I'm wrong. I think right now the name of the game isn't just mindset. As long as you got the mindset of winning, like a champion, you're gonna have to match the mindset with skill set.
I agree 100%. I can't agree with you more. I mean, I beat at my craft every single day. I don't know why anybody wouldn't do that. Basketball player jumps on the hoops before he starts a game, and he's practicing for an hour or two. He's getting his mind right, body right, you name it. Us agents got to do the same. So this is the time when there's a little downtime, right? And it was funny because I was talking to my wife about an hour ago, and she knows that like during these prospecting times or these extra hours, I'm going to work longer. Because one time she came to me a while back, and some type of change, and she asked me, she's like, "Are we going to be okay?" I said, "We're going to be okay. Just know this: I'm going to have to work harder, but there's going to be a lot more opportunity when things kind of mellow out." So she knows that's my mindset. So she doesn't bother me during the mornings. But I called her right after my prospecting, and just to see what's going on with things. My thought process behind it was, hey, wait a minute here. I'm having extra time on my hands here. I normally wouldn't even call my wife during these hours. So I realized, and I took a step back to realize, am I doing everything I possibly can to sharpen my skills? So it's a must. If you do an hour of it, do 2 hours of it. So just because you have a little downtime right now doesn't mean you stop. You actually increase productivity.
Good. And what skills specifically should one be working on mastering during this little off time that we have right now?
Well, you're going to have to learn new trades. You're going to have to learn new tricks, right? At this point, you're going to adjust with the circumstances. Find out more information about how rates are going to be going. I mean, right now, I think every real estate agent should be talking to lenders. And at this point, find out more about their craft. Find out a little bit more about, as you probably are aware, non-QM loans have disappeared overnight. In the last week and a half, they took a freeze on anybody that's not qualified. Non-QM will stand for qualified mortgage. So that would be a bank statement program or a no docs, which, kind of went away before. But point is, what alternative methods are these lenders going to be lending money on? Because that's a big thing in our business. And if you have that little secret ingredient, you can go back to some of your buyers and say, hey, by the way, this is no longer available, but this is. So all these different things that can attract more buyers or sellers, those are the tricks that you need to learn. Because at this point, think about this. Sellers, in the seller's mind right now, they're thinking the property's going down. Why don't we be calling a lot of the people that have second homes, right? They're going to want to liquidate for any type of assets and whatnot. Those are the people. Find out how to get those numbers. Find out how to talk to those people. Find out, how you can work on your skills as far as handling objections. Get on coaching. This is the time you need to invest in yourself more than ever before.
Awesome. Let me just do a little plug over there. If you go to objectionhandlingmastery.com, there's about 10 hour. It's about a 10-hour video training course just on objection handling. And in the last 1 week, to help out the real estate community, we slashed the price down to 90% off. So go to objectionhandlingmastery.com, and for a couple of dollars, less than the cost of a dinner, you can learn how to master that skill set. Because I'll tell you, you are going to need that skill set, whether you buy my course or not. It's not about a sales pitch or anything like that. He or she that can have a better conversation is he or she that's going to end up lifting more property and selling more property when we get off a hold and go back to work. So, Mike, so basically, in other words, what you're saying is This is your opportunity to spend the time to become the expert, because here's the way I look at it. Okay, there are buyers right now who are still going to buy, sometime in the next 30, 60, 90 days, etc. There are people who are in their home right now, and they recognize, because they're spending more time at home, that this is no longer the home for them, because it's not what they thought it was for them, before, because they weren't spending that much time at home, and are going to want to sell that home. And there are people who are investors who are going to say, oh, wow, this is perfect time for me to, go buy more investment properties. And those are the people that are going to be calling on the expert, okay, when it's time to make that phone call. So what is it that you are doing right now to position yourself as the expert in the marketplace? So now we shift from, skill to communication. And when I'm talking about communication, I'm not talking about just the communication that you're having one-on-one with them, but the communication that you're having online with them right now, because everyone is online right now. Everybody is watching and everybody is listening. And I'm curious for you to answer, at least in your own mind, our viewer is, what are they hearing from you? What are they seeing from you? Are you the person that's posting, funny memes and, just like, fear-based news media? Or are you the one that's saying, hey, banks, I just got off the phone with my lender. My lender informed me that these banks are, they have a forbearance program. And, if you can't make your mortgage payment, you need to contact this person. Here's the conversation you'd be having with your creditors. Here's the things that are happening in our marketplace right now. Yeah, we can't show property, so we're doing virtual tours. Here are some things that you should be aware of if you're planning on buying a home in 90 days from now. Or here are the things that you need to be thinking about if you've ever thought about selling your home this year, etc. Like, we need to be communicating these things. That's what people are looking for. Not everybody's looking for that. The people that want to buy and sell are the people that are going to watch that video and or read whatever you're posting online. So if anything, I would challenge every single person to be posting a minimum of 1, 2, 3 things every single day on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, anywhere and everywhere they can. Your past clients and centers of influence should be getting an email from you at least once a week. Here's how we've been impacted, whether it's positively or negatively, in the last 1 week. Your family members need to be getting a call from you, etc. We need to do our part, and that goes back to what we began talking about earlier. As the leader, you got to do what a leader's got to do. And what leaders do every single day are the things that most people don't want to do. And that's why the leaders live the life that you envy online, because you're not willing to do the work. So if anything, Mike, this is the time to either get your shit together or get the heck out of the business. Agree or disagree?
I can't agree more. I look forward to these kind of moments. I know it sounds crazy. I mean, not with the circumstances of anybody getting hurt, by no means. But when agents fall asleep and they're not in this business full time, I think that those guys are going to get squeezed. I'm not saying everybody's going to get out of the business, but I will tell you this. If your game is not up there right now and you're not beating at your craft and getting better during these times of adversity, you will be squeezed out of the business, or your market share will decrease. So at this point, I want to increase my market share. I want my agents to actually get better during these times. So I'm keeping them as busy as I possibly can. We do 2-3 Zoom meetings a week. It could be an update. It could be a training. It could be anything that's going to be relative to our industry. So my only advice to other agents that are listening out here is that take this time and don't waste it, because it's going to come. It will pass. This too shall pass, God willing, of course. But then what? You started off. Now you have to go back to your routines. You're going to be so rusty on how do you speak to people and actually how your routines are going to actually take place, that you may put yourself back 3 months, 6 months, even a year from when you started. So at this point, you need to make sure that when the smoke does clear, your game is on top of it.
100%, Mike. And, just a little idea out there, just on the topic of objection handling, is if there are just 10 common objections, we'll just go with 10 common objections that we get from buyers and sellers. Okay, here's one thing we know for a fact, based on the date that we are recording this, and I have no idea what day is it. Today, I think, is Thursday, March something. Okay.
Yep.
So basically what we know is for the next 10 days, okay, things are kind of like on hold, etc. And if there's
Sure.
10 objections, what if you spend just every day just mastering how to handle one objection? You know what will happen to you in 10 days, Mike?
You'd be a superstar.
You will be a superstar. You
Yeah.
know what else will happen? Your doubts will begin to disappear. Okay?
Right.
Your courage will begin to appear. And all of a sudden, you'll be like, I can't wait till this game begins. I want to go out there. Give me the freaking damn objections. I can crush those objections, etc. So it is opportunity time for those that are going to take the time right now to prepare for that opportunity. So,
I'd like to bring up one more point because I was there before, right? And I want to make sure every agent understands that adversity is just part of the path. I mean, I have something right here that kind of shows, success and whatnot, and it just doesn't always just get there. There's risks, there's failures, there's doubt, criticism, discipline, sacrifices, rejection, late nights, persistence, hard work. Those are just the ingredients to get to success. And I got to tell you something here. I think what's really difficult, Chad, if you really want to hit home here, is that most people can't see 3 months, 6 months down the road because they're worried about today and tomorrow. And I remember something deep in my head is whenever I was listening to somebody else, when I didn't truly believe it at the time, was like, yeah, he's speaking from a place of abundance, but little does he know that, I need to make my mortgage payment that's coming up in 2 days. I have a car payment coming up. And so at this point, I think they'll be able to see light at the end of the tunnel if they were in better financial circumstances. But what's really important and what kept me through this whole process is that, I knew at my faith, I lean back on my faith. And I know, and not to just bring in any type of spiritual mindset, but I truly believe in the time of fear, in the time of doubt, you need to lean on your spiritual side. And it could be with faith, it could be meditation, it could be anything. And that will help you through things because there's some things you control, there's some things you just can't control. But the things that you can control, you should be held accountable for, and just let nature take its course. So my only advice to any agent that's watching that's in a financial crunch is don't let today determine your tomorrow. Just remember, today is something that's going to worry about now. You can't control those things. You have 24 hours just like the next person. But what you do have is to understand that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Build your future for 3 months, 6 months, a year, because this will pass. And then you're going to say, what did I do in that time?
You're either going to be prepared or you're going to retreat.
That's it.
Okay. So let's talk about if we were to give every single person a 90-day plan right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead and, we didn't plan on doing this, because we just have conversations. Okay. If we were to give everyone a 90-day plan, okay, let's create that together. So I would say number one is, just set up 90-day goals. Begin with just 90-day goals, okay? And here's the thing. We don't know exactly what the future is going to look like, but let's hope for a good future, because when you're coming from that place, it's going to give you certainty and it's going to give you something to focus on. And at the end of 90 days, look, if anything changes, we can always modify. But we got to have a plan, and most people right now don't have a plan whatsoever. So I would say set up 90-day goals. And I think the things that we can control more than anything else right now that have to be in terms of those 90 days should be, number one is, how do I want my mind to be 90 days in comparison to what it is right now? So if I were to rate my mindset on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, if your mindset is a 5, 6, or 7, where do you want it to be realistically speaking in 90 days? Okay, so everyone's going to give me the same exact number. Everyone's going to say, I want the mindset of a champion. Perfect. Okay, what are some of the activities that you need to engage in between now and in the next 90 days in order for you to do that? I would say every single person should read a minimum of 3 books in the next 90 days, one every 30 days. So read 3 books, okay? I think every single person should consume at least 3 audio programs in the next 90 days. See, we're creating a 90-day plan, okay? The next, I think everyone should consume a minimum of 1 podcast on the Top Listing Agent Show for the next 90 days. We have more than 90 episodes. If you just listen to 1 episode every single day for the next 90 days, there's a $100,000 education that you're getting for free. Okay,
Sure.
that would be in regards to the mindset. A couple of things, and then I'll be like, okay, well, physically, that you can control. It doesn't matter what's happening outside. It doesn't matter what's happening with
Right.
the government, the economy, or anything like that. That you can control. In 90 days, do I want to be physically ready to take on the world? Okay, or do I want to be like, do I want to get cholesterol because I changed my diet? Do I want to have diabetes in 90
Mhm.
days? Do I want to be overweight? Do I want to lack the energy, etc.? That's three things. And another thing that most people are not taking a look at that they need right now is relationships.
There you go.
What are number one, what is, but see, I'm talking about a couple of different kind of relationships, not just the relationship with your significant other. I think number one, the relationship that you need to rebuild with yourself so you can have more
Mhm.
respect for yourself, so you can love yourself more. Okay, then your relationship with your significant other, then your relationship with your children, then the relationship with your siblings, and then the relationship with your neighbors, and then the relationship with your community and your past clients and centers of influence. You can create a plan for that regardless of what is happening in the
For
world.
sure.
So we begin with that which you can control. And then I know that for leads, what's your 90-day plan for leads? I get that you can generate a lead today, and even if you want to meet with that person, you might not be able to meet with that person because of social distancing, etc. Okay, you can have a virtual meeting with them. You can get all docs signed online. Look, one of my clients in the last 1 week has taken 5 listings, Mike. Okay, none of those 5 listings are hitting the MLS yet. They all have a to be determined date on them. They have a to be determined price just in case when we go on the MLS, it's different. They have a contingency that they have to agree on price before they go on the MLS. So we got to get creative in that's part of the plan is to work that plan. But the thing that I want people to plan for is like, okay, forget about listings right now. Forget about escrows right now. If you were to create a 90-day plan in 90 days, how many buyer leads do you want to have and how many seller leads do you want to have?
I like that.
Do you see, like, we got to adapt and we got to do. So that requires, so now once you identify all these things that you want, you got to ask yourself, the question is, what is my daily action plan to get that? So what is your 90-day daily action plan must look like?
Chadi, and I love what you're doing right now because you're actually putting things in perspective, right? You're breaking it down from a 90 days to what my daily activities are. I personally believe, Chadi, and you're going to laugh at me when I say this, I think everybody knows what they need to do. I really do. I think that if you give them a breakdown of what needs to take place, they would probably know 80 to 90, maybe even 100% of what we're discussing right now. But let's just talk about the real meat and potatoes.
Yeah, but you know
Okay.
what? If we could expand on that, it's funny that you say that because just about every single person I talked to so far today, and I'm like looking for like new nuggets, something new to show up or anything like that, just because I may be missing something. Everybody just went back to the same exact thing. What you should be doing today is exactly what you should have been doing every single day, anyways. The
100%.
only thing that changes is just a shift in the way that you have a conversation with people right now because we are.
Of course. I mean, we shifted, Chadi. We shifted. We were a seller's market about a week and a half ago, up in, from January to, I don't know, beginning of March, what now, right? We've shifted overnight to now we're a buyer's market, right? I mean, think about it. The homes that are on the market can't be shown. Those multiple offers. I was just talking to one person right now, and I asked her about the offers, and she said they had 27 offers when they accepted that deal. That deal failed because of the fact that the day before closing, they went to do a verification of employment, and the man got laid off, right? So at the end of the day, it went back on the market. It's been sitting on the market for the last few days. I said, where's your 26 other offers? She said, Mike, they all talked a great game, and now that it's back on the market, everybody's scared and whatnot, so we just put it back on the market and to see, what's out there. So, the shift between seller to buyer should have been shifted. In my opinion, you should be contacting a lot of buyers. I know there's a lot of other people right now saying otherwise. That's fine. If you want immediate results right now, you need to talk to as many buyers as you possibly can. And here's the best part. Listing agents and the people that were getting the phone calls on their signs, no longer, right? So a lot of the internet leads are starting to answer. A lot of the people that we're discussing from before that were leads and, hey, I'll buy in the spring to them. Hey, let's talk about it. We're seeing prices come down. You mean to tell me my contingent offer might get accepted? I mean, these are the shifts that I'm talking about that we can educate people. But let's talk about why they're not doing the work. I think personally, and you and I have talked about it before, but I don't know if we stressed on it. Their why is not strong enough. And I realized something in my life through these adversities and these times of, oh my God, what am I going to do? Right. And I look at my children. My children are my why. My wife is a great supporter, and I always want to make her proud of me. But at the end of the day, I gotta wake up and I gotta do these routines, because at the end of the day, they're counting. Their education is counting on me. The quality of life is counting on me. So I think what you really got to do, and here's the hard truth, and I'm going to tell all of our viewers right now: if you haven't done it and you're not working hard right now, I think you're letting not only yourself down, but the people that matter the most to you down. So that's what you need to do. Find out, reconnect with your why. I had to reconnect with my why just a week and a half ago. And, I always knew what the why was, but it really was something that weighed on me when I couldn't work. I couldn't do what I love to do, which is real estate. And I looked around and I'm like, spending more time with my family. I mean, I had tears in my eyes when I was talking to my son, how he does his daily routines now that he's not going to school. And my wife is, pretty much, she's adamant about, education. So she's got things in order, so do like a little bit more homeschool. And, I had a tear in my eye, Chadi, I got to tell you. And I said, wow, the things I really took for granted. And that just made me that much more excited. That made me that much more pumped up. And that's why I really realize is, this is when I have to dig deep. My why comes into play. So you need to really concentrate on what you're doing and why you're not doing it. So reconnect with your why.
I couldn't have said it any better, brother, because, what I'm noticing, I mean, you're talking about, like, the children are, your reason why. And, most people always reference that all the time. And then one of the things that I've noticed over the course of the last 2 weeks, since kids have had to stay home, okay, and there's no daycare or anything like that, there's a lot of people that are now using their children as an excuse to not do their job. What do you want to say to that person?
Well, I mean, no different than I told my agents, right? Because I'm brutally honest, man. I think sometimes you're either going to love me or hate me about this. We had those conversations with, single moms, and I had conversations with people that, have those responsibilities with either children at home. And here's my thought process behind it. You need to take care of your business. There's no doubt. But if you need to understand that if you're thinking that you're sacrificing those times with your kids because you're working, I don't think you're seeing the big picture here. In my opinion, this is when you need to show them, this is what I do for a living. This is why mommy or daddy goes to work every single day. You're going to witness what takes place for me to give you a brighter future. And, the beautiful school that you go to and the wonderful neighborhood that we live in. This is why it's so important for mommy and daddy to actually do what we do, because at the end of the day, this is what provides it. And I think they'll respect that. So you got to have that conversation with those children.
Right.
And let them know, hey, you're in this room, I'm in this room. And, if you don't mind, let me take care of business and we'll spend time with each other after.
Right. So basically, what I was also trying to say is I'm all about family first. I'm all about family first. And what we need to do during this time is, number one, we need to plan for it. We can't live every hour from hour to hour, depending on, you can plan out the day for the children. You can get creative with activities. Somebody mentioned earlier that, you can do virtual play dates, for the children via Zoom. And, you can put them on there for 1 hour, but during that hour, you got to get your job done. You can't multitask or anything like that. I get it that before, children were in school for 6-7 hours. You had 6-7 hours. Now you don't have 6-7 hours. You may only have 2 to 3 hours, because I want you to take care of your children. I want you to take care of your family, but I want you to do more in those 2 to 3 hours that you have than you used to do in 6 or 7 hours before, because we know that when you used to go to the office, you used to chit chat and play around and do all that crazy stuff. Now you just got to make, your work.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so no, I don't think anybody knows that better than myself, man. I was a single father and raising him pretty much. Yeah, I know you too. That's what we share in common. And I had to learn really quickly that, the time that I had to make best use of it. I mean, what people were doing in 8 hours at the office, I had to complete within an hour or two. If I told anybody my daily routine when I was taking care of my son by myself, I don't think anybody would ever believe me. I mean, I was picking him up, dropping him off, getting into the office, then had to leave office, go pick him up from school, get him home, get him ready, feed him, go take him to football practice, go make dinner, go pick him up, bring him back, do his homework or whatever the case may be, to start that day all over again. So I understand that. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I personally believe, it made me tougher. It made me stronger. And I realized how much time I truly had in the day. Now, when I have that extra time, I'm like, I don't even know what to do with it. It's like crazy. So I think I was a little bit more productive, to be quite frank with you, Chadi, when I was on a time crunch. There was no messing around. There was no activity talks. There's no, let's talk about golf or anything that I enjoy. Bottom line is I'm here to work, and I tell that to all my coworkers from before. And, before I opened this brokerage, I would tell other coworkers that, hey, I love you, but I love my family more. So I need to get more stuff done now so I can go back to them. So I appreciate it. We'll have this conversation, and you can ask me about my weekend at another date. But right now, I need to get to work. I used to have a sign, and I still have the sign to this day, like do not disturb, right? Prospecting. These are the things that you really have to be careful and make sure that you're pretty strong about, because at the end of the day, there's a lot to talk about, right? There's a lot of fake news. There's a kind of facts. You have to separate between what's fact and what's fiction, and a lot of politics going on right now. So stay guard of your own mind more now than ever so before.
Love it. Mike, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I think you shared a lot of valuable nuggets with us. You're in the San Diego area. San Diego is a big county. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, reach out to you, or, come work with you, or send you a referral or anything like that, how can people connect with you? How can people reach you?
A couple different ways. Mike's MikeSafiedine.work. It's more of a digital card. They can get to me there. They can contact me via phone, 858-609-9609. They can go to mikesremax.com. They can email me, mikesremax@gmail.com. You'll get a hold of me.
They can find you on Facebook, on Instagram, Remax Connections.
Yep, Remax Connections is my company. We have 2 offices, and we're ready to expand. Right now, we're really just tightening it up, of course, to make sure that we are good moving forward, which I think every agent should do right now. But more than anything, I just can't wait to, blow this out of the water, man. I want all Southern California. I'm coming to your neck of the woods, my friend.
Hey, come on, man. I got your back, bro. I'll help you build it. So I just want to thank anyone and everyone that's watching this live, and those who are watching this in playback. And yes, I am doing about 15 interviews, and trying to get you something a little bit different perspective on every single interview. And then on Friday, April the 3rd at 11 a.m. Pacific, I am going to do a training where I'm going to get very deep and very specific on how to market-proof your business, how to recession-proof your business, and how to thrive in the upcoming new get-rich economy that's coming up. And for you to register for that free training, you simply have to go to realestatesuccessmastery.com. And Mike, man, always a pleasure having you on, man. I can't wait for the social distancing to end so we can just, so I can drive down to San Diego, or you can come up to the OC so we can kick it a little bit.
Chadi, I'm a hugger, man. And it's like you're taking away my strength, by telling me to keep my distance. But no, I feel you, brother. I can't wait to hang out with you, man, and, talk real estate, which we both have a love for and passion for. And, whatever I could do to help anybody else out in the process, that's my passion.
Awesome. I appreciate you, brother. You are the best. Our audience, thank you guys very much. Remember, we're doing this for you. It's not for me. It's not for him. It's for the industry that we love so much. We love you, and we are here to support you, and we're going to do everything we possibly can for you to make it out okay and on top.